Top Test Prep.
All right, so we're comparing the SAT with the ACT, and I have to say, this is one of the most frequently asked questions that I get regarding standardized tests. And you should know that SAT and the ACT differ in style and content. So let's look at style for a second. SAT questions tend to be more analytical, whereas the ACT tends to ask more straightforward questions. So if you're thinking of a math question, for example, and maybe the ACT will say, here are 2 points on a graph, what's the midpoint? Pretty straightforward, right? The SAT, on the other hand, may give you something like, this line is tangent to the curve, here are the points of the curve, but we don't know about the line, and you have to find the midpoint of the line. Something like that that's a little bit more convoluted, even if it's testing the same concepts. So if you think that your strengths lie with more straightforward questions, I would recommend the ACT. But you should also keep in mind that, like I said, the content of these two tests differ as well. So the ACT has a whole section on science, whereas the SAT doesn't even touch that topic area. The SAT also has questions that reward strong vocabulary skills. So if you're sick of learning about root meanings and prefixes and suffixes, you may want to, again, lean towards taking the ACT. And finally, the ACT, the way it's organized is that the sections are all at once. You have English, then you have math, then you have reading, then you have science. The SAT is a little bit more back and forth. You have maybe a math, then you have English, then you have a short math again, you go to reading. So if that kind of question style would make you dizzy between switching all these sections, maybe you want to do the ACT. But then again, if you don't think you have the endurance to go through 75 English questions in 45 minutes, then maybe you want to try out the SAT. Essentially, there's nothing wrong with taking both tests and seeing which one works for you, but it really does depend on the student and your strengths and weaknesses in the topic areas that are tested. So if you need any more help in making this decision, feel free to call us at our office, 1-800-501-7737.